welcome to the April edition of Feeding Our Faith. And with me today I've got Kate Romer, who's going to help me make an antipasta salad. Now, it sounds like it's fancy, but it is definitely not something which is too fancy for people to be able to make, anyone to be able to make. So what we're going to do is first, we need to start cutting up. We've got some sliced provolone and some slices of Genoa salami. Now what we want to do is we want to get this cut into more bite-sized portions. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half like that, and then we're going to cut them into little pieces like that. Okay. You want to try your hand at it?
Okay.
All right. While Kate's slicing the cheese, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to add mixed greens. Now you can get the pre-washed mixed greens. This has all kinds of different types of lettuces in it, or sometimes people will use romaine or kind of a heartier lettuce. It's completely up to you. And so we will combine that first in our bowl. We've got quite a bit there. One of the first things we'll add are some cherry tomatoes, which we've sliced in halves. And so we'll add the cherry tomatoes in there. Okay, so Kate has cut up the cheese, and now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up some of the salami into the strips just the same way. And while I'm doing that, Kate, if you wouldn't mind kind of separating the cheese and putting it in there for me, kind of just in little pieces. Oh, no, just the cheese. Oh. And I'm going to go ahead and start cutting some of the salami. Now the antipasta salad, you could add even other types of meat in there. If you wanted to add some chopped up prosciutto, you could do that as well. Depends upon how fancy you'd like to do it. But I've found that these combinations work very, very well. And if you could also put the salami in there for me, I'd appreciate it. The salad actually I learned from someone here in our parish, actually on staff, from Pam Sapienza, our coordinator of children's all the children's WCC in formation. She's made this several times, and she taught me how to make this, and this is actually a very tasty salad. Now, once we've added in all of the salami and the provolone cheese, we actually have some black and green olives that we've chopped up, and we will put that in there as well. Now, the other thing we do is we also take some artichokes. Now, we've got these marinated artichokes. These are just the artichoke hearts. And so we'll want to take some of those out and kind of cut them up a little bit. So we'll fish them out of the jar. Now, you want to keep the marinating liquid here, because the marinating liquid, the liquid that we have in this jar, is going to be what becomes our dressing for the salad. So we'll take these out first, and we'll kind of cut these up. All right. Okay, you want to cut those up for me? Just kind of, basically we're just going to kind of cut them into some pieces like this. Just kind of roughly chop them. Okay. All right, thank you. So we've got a good amount of the marinade still left here. And so we will actually use this for the dressing. And we're going to kind of eyeball it a little bit because there's quite a bit in there. And this is a salad that's kind of, you can make even more or less of it. It's kind of however you want. You can make a really large amount of it and feed a huge family or a large crowd, perhaps a large crowd when we have Feeding Our Faith. All right, that looks good. So now we will put that in there. If you want to kind of scrape that in there for me. Thank you, ma'am. And while she is tossing the salad and kind of mixing it all together, I'm going to pour in the dressing. There we go. All right, our last step, once we've got it tossed nicely like that, is we'll sprinkle some fresh Parmesan on the top. And we are ready to serve. So we have our finished salad here, and Kate and I are going to try it here in a second. And as we kind of mentioned earlier, it's something very flexible of things that you can add for it, and you can add all kinds of extra little vegetables if you wanted to. But this coming weekend's topic is going to be on the church hierarchy. Now, Kate, are you familiar with what I mean when I say the church hierarchy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's your understanding of it? Or maybe you have some questions about it.
Have you ever thought of becoming a bishop or a pope?
Oh, about becoming a bishop or a pope. Well, I've been asked that question before. A couple of my friends have said, so is that your ultimate goal? Are you working to become the bishop? And the church hierarchy works a little bit different. It's not something that you necessarily work to become. And, to become the bishop or the pope is a little bit of a process. Now, a lot of what happens is, particularly for bishops, is, they'll look for guys who are priests who oftentimes are not only deep men of faith and of prayer, but also guys who have leadership qualities and qualities that might be needed in a particular area or a particular diocese. And then what happens is they will ask the guy about becoming a bishop of a particular area, like the Diocese of Fort Worth or something like that. But then other titles like cardinal and archbishop, a lot of those are honorary titles that are given, and doesn't necessarily mean that a cardinal is above our bishop here. But oftentimes cardinals are in charge of particular things within the church. And so, am I going to become one? Only God knows. I think I'm doing fine where I'm at, and I'll be happy just to stay here as Father Jeff for as long as I can. But if you want to find out a little bit more about the church hierarchy and how we understand that and how it's a part of our faith, then come this weekend to Feeding Our Faith, and we will talk a little bit more about it. So should we try the salad?
Yeah.
All right, dig it.